talking about is called Pixlr. Alright, if you go to Pixlr, search in Google, here we go, pixlr.com, and I can go there and you'll get some different options. Now I'm going to choose the second option, which is the one I use or one I recommend to you, the advanced option. Okay, so we'll click there, and you can either work on a previous image or you can actually create a new one. Let's create a new one, and what I thought we'd do is create a very simple website banner. Okay, so a header really for the top of your website, and again, this is something that I would normally outsource, and it'll probably look completely terrible as well, but really the only purpose of this video is so I can tell you about this tool and show you some of the basic functions in it. Okay, so please keep that in mind and don't be too critical of the monstrosity that I'm about to create. Right? It's really just to show you around the tool so you can actually use it yourself. Alright, so what we'll do, we'll call this header, or we'll call it, I tell you what, website header, how about that? Okay, and what I want to do actually is create this a specific width and height. Now I actually have a website, let me go to that website here, and you can see it's a complete sort of blank website, very simple, just one post and a page here. And it's just really a test website that I use for trying out different things and experimenting with. So what we can do is actually go into the back end of that website, okay, into the WordPress dashboard, and what I'll do is I'll come down to appearance, and just to show you to start with, if I go to themes, you'll see I'm running the 2012 theme here. Okay, now there are premium themes you get. I use and recommend Thesis, and also Woo themes are excellent, okay, but they're going to cost you sort of $97, maybe even a little bit more. So if you're looking for a free theme and you're not ready to invest in a kind of paid theme, then actually the WordPress themes 2012, and I think there's 2011 as well, are really pretty good, and you can get some great looking websites, you know, and they actually have some quite good customization features on them as well. So I just wanted to point that out before we get into the actual header stuff. But if I go to appearance and header now, and you can see that it's saying with a custom header the suggested width is 960 pixels and the height is 250. Okay, so let's actually go and set that in Pixlr. Okay, so 960 by 250. So we'll go back and I'm going to put in 960 and we'll go to height here, 250. Alright, and we'll click OK. Now you can see what's happened is, if I bring this window down, this is the image that the blank image that I'm going to design. And you can resize this, you can drag it down a little bit, and you can see that white rectangle there is actually what will be my header. Alright, now it is going to look bad, like I said, but I just want to show you the functions. So the first thing we can do is say, let's make the background a different colour. So for that I can go to Tools here on the left and select the Paint Bucket tool. Alright, so I'll select that, just click there, and let's just have a different colour. So I'll click down here, and you've got a colour selector, so let's go for some kind of blue, shall we? Something like that. So maybe there, and I'll bring this across. Very light blue. There we go. I'll click OK, and then all I do is left click in this area and we change the background colour. Okay. Now the next thing I thought would be good to have an image on it. Okay. So what I've done is I've found this image, which is actually off the stock exchange website. It's got the weirdest URL ever, I think, and it's sxc.hu. sxc.hu, so very strange. I've yet to find a weirder URL, but anyway, what I thought we'd do is just create pretend it's a photography website, okay, because that's a very profitable niche online. Okay, so what we'll do is right click here, we'll go save image as, and I'm just going to put this, click save, and I'm going to put that in my desktop. So there it goes into the desktop. We'll go back to Pixlr. Now, the next thing to understand, if you're new to this, is about layers. Now, people get quite confused about layers, but really, and you'll see these in action in a moment, all a layer is a different component of the image that you're creating. And they're independent. That's why they're really useful, because you can work on the layers separately, okay, without affecting the other layers. So if you imagine that, the best analogy I think is if you imagine somebody who creates an oil painting, they might start off and they might put in the sky, okay, well that's the first layer. Then they might put in the sea, okay, or the ocean, that's the second layer. Then they might put in the land, that's the third layer. Then they might put in some, say, trees, okay, and that's a fourth layer. Now if you do that in a program like Pixlr, those 4 different layers will be independent. So if you've put the tree on top of the land and the sea, then if you decide later on, I don't like the tree and I want to change it, you could remove that tree and you'll still have the land and the ocean and the sky and everything behind it. So I hope that kind of makes sense. But I think when we go into this in a bit more detail, it'll start to make sense. So what we can do is firstly open this image, okay, the camera, as a layer. So I'm going to go to layer and I'm going to go to open image as layer, okay, so we'll select that and I'll select, this is the image I just downloaded, okay, so I will click open there and here we go. Now there's a couple of problems with this, isn't there? One, I think it's a bit too big, so I'm going to reduce the size of it, but also it's got this white background around it. So let's solve those 2 problems. The first thing is, you can see that it's actually opened as a different layer, okay? So if basically I resize this, it will just resize this camera, because that's the layer, but, you know, layer 1 it's called here. Okay, so it won't affect the other background image. So what I'm going to do is go up to edit and free transform here. Okay, so edit and free transform, and you can see the image is highlighted. Now if you just drag it, what will happen is you can change all the dimensions of it, okay, you can even turn it upside down, it's amazing, okay, but that's not really what we want, okay. So when I click outside, it's going to say, do you want to apply the changes? No, I don't. We'll go back to how it was. So again, I'm going to select edit and free transform, and I'm going to keep the image in proportion, and the way I can do that is just hold down shift on my keyboard. So I'll just make this a bit smaller, and I think that's probably about the right size, okay, so that's good, right. And then I'll click outside. Do I want to apply the changes? Yes please, I do. Okay, so I'll click yes. Now the next thing is, I think I would like to move the image over to the right. So what I can do is go up here to the move tool, okay, click there, and just hold the left mouse button down and just drag this over, okay. So I'll put that there, I think, somewhere like that, there I think will be fine. And then also I'd like to get rid of this white around it. Now the way I can do that is actually go over to this tool, which is called this one, which is called the wand tool, okay, so the wand, click there, and all I'm going to do is click on the white area. Now if you look closely, hopefully you can see a sort of moving dotted line around it, or a dashed line. Now if I just click delete on my keyboard, okay, that removes that image. So basically that's become transparent, and the image below it, which is the background layer, is showing through, and that's exactly what I want, okay. So that's good. Now what I'm going to do is actually go up to, oh that's fine, okay, so that's okay. Now what we can do next is actually go to put some text, okay. So I'm going to click on A, which is the text tool, or the type tool it's called, and I'm going to put in the title of my website, which I'm just going to call it something stupid like ready, steady, shoot. It's probably terrible just an example, okay, like I said. Now the colour is actually wrong because it's actually the same as the background colour, which is why you can't see the text. So let's change that first of all. I'm going to click there, and let's just make it black, okay? Probably wouldn't be black, but we'll just use that as an example. Okay, so I'll move that down there, that's great, and we'll click OK. Now let's make this a little bit bigger and also bold. So we'll make it bold here, and we'll increase the size. Alright, ready, steady, shoot. Okay. Alright, so that's good. Or, well, that'll do anyway. Alright, that's okay. And I think what we'll do is just move this text down a little bit. So we'll go back to the Move tool, and we'll just drag this down a little bit like that. Okay, and we can put in let's put in a sub title as well. So I can call this Photography Tips for Beginners. Okay, and again we'll put this in. I don't know, we'll put this in sort of grey colour, shall we? Something like that. Let's see how that looks. Okay, and we'll make it a bit smaller. Something like that, maybe. A little bit. Yeah, that'll do. And let's make it italic as well. Alright. We'll click OK. We need to move this again, so we'll click on the Move tool again and put this there. Alright, and basically you can start to see how the image can come together. Again, obviously you can spend a lot more time on this than I am here, but hopefully it gives you an idea of some of the functions. Some of the other things you can do actually, if you see we've got several layers now, one for each element on the image, which is really useful because then we can work on those elements separately without affecting the others. But if I go back to the main title, which is Ready, Steady, Shoot, so I'll click there. Okay, there's a little button here which is basically called Layer Styles, and you can change the text a little bit here. So if I click there, I'll just show you. You can put in things like drop shadows. So if I click there and also click on that one, get some options, move this down a little bit, and you can see if you play around with this, just do it quickly, you can actually put in a little shadow maybe like that. Okay, loads of other options here, you can play around with them, but I think that'll do for now. So we'll click OK, and then the next thing to do, let's just crop this a little bit. So what I'm going to do is go up to the crop tool, and we shall just do this, I think, so make it a little bit not as high. I think that'll work. So we'll just select that. I'm just going to click enter on my keyboard. Okay, brilliant. And I think we could go on and on, but I think that's enough to just show you some of the things that you can do. So all I'll do is click File, Save. Okay. Now you can save the project if you like. So if you want to come back and work on this with all the layers and just where you left off, then you can select this option, which is Layered Pixlr Image. That's very useful. But what we'll do is just save it as a JPEG, I think, to begin with. So just a standard file. And we'll do that. We'll click OK, and I'll just save this in my desktop. Alright, so if I go to my desktop now, and you can see website header here. There we go, that's the image we just created. Now what we need to do is get this onto the website. So I'm going to go back to my website where we were in the header section earlier. Click on Choose File, Website Header, Open, click on Upload, don't forget to do that. There we go. Now you can actually crop it here, so we don't really want to do that, so I'm going to drag that over there. Click on Crop and Publish. Okay, that's good, and then we'll go back to the blog and let's refresh the blog. So if we've done this correctly, our website header should appear. And there we go. Okay, so we've got our website header. So you can see it doesn't look great at all, I know that, but I just wanted to show you, how you can do different styles and backgrounds and that kind of get it on the site, and how you can include images as well on a different coloured background. That's a really useful little trick that I actually use sort of probably once a week or twice a week. I end up doing that for various reasons, so it's a worthwhile piece of knowledge to have. But you can see it's a lot of fun and you can get stuck in, and like I said, if you aren't really into graphics and you don't feel it's in your skill set, you don't enjoy it so much, that's you're a bit like me, in which case you can outsource most of the work. But still, it's still useful to be able to do this kind of thing, just to get do some basic images which you can do quickly, because sometimes it's good, you just want one little thing, and it's good to be able to do that yourself rather than having to wait 24 hours or 48 hours for a designer to get back to you. Okay, and equally, if you want to change something, then you can use these techniques as well. So I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think, and talk soon. Take care. Bye.